It's Jane here from Earth Palette. I thought we'd do another dyeing session with the merino tops. I've got my dyes organised. They're different colours this time. I've got brilliant red, rubine, violet and turquoise this time. I'll just move them out of the way a little bit. Put my Glad wrap down. Bit of a breeze here, so hopefully it'll stay. Oops. Okay. As before, I've got my merino tops. Oh, if I can find the end of it. They've been soaked. I soak my merino tops overnight, but in water. So they're all, and then I give them a squeeze out so that they're all damp but not sopping wet. Okay, I'll just tidy it up a bit. Oops. Okay, that looks better. Now make sure we're all in frame here. Okay, right, so the first colour we want is brilliant red. As you can see, these dyes have a thickener added to them, so they're not really watery, and it helps the dyes to hang on to the fibre and not just pool underneath all the fibres. Just move those out of the way. Got my cloth to wipe my hands. Then I'm using rubine. Not a lot of colour variation in this one, but don't want to do rainbows all the time, do we? I don't know if the noise is still quite as much as it was in the last video. The birds have quieted down a little bit at the moment, but the machinery is still going in the background. The headers are still going because we're in the middle of harvest. And then I'll put some turquoise on. And then we'll repeat our colours. Go back to our brilliant red. There will be a little bit of mixing of colours at where the two colours meet, but if you think about what colours those two colours make before you put your dye on, you won't get any surprises and get brown where you don't really want brown. So I know that these two colours where they meet, like the brilliant red and the turquoise, will make a purple, and this will just make a slightly different shade of purple. I thought about that before I chose these colours. This is the violet. These are made up to the full strength as per directions on the dyes, and this is the colours that they are. So the colours you see as you're putting them on here is the colour your fibre will be. They don't, on the wool, they don't really go too pale or much different from the colours that you're applying. And then as before, I just gather them all up, flip it over, try not to mess it up too much. I have a cloth that I wipe my hands on in between to try and make sure I don't mix up my colours too much. And then we'll go back and just put a bit on the backs where the colours are a bit pale. rubine. There will be some colour blending between the two colours, but that's okay. I'm happy with that. I don't mind, you know, slightly blending of colours. Might just wipe my hands a bit better or contaminate the turquoise. Just give it a wipe so that we don't cross-contaminate our colours too much. And then we'll push it again a little bit in so it's all tucked in nicely. I will have to slide it along a bit actually because my plastic is more towards one side out of camera. Fold it over. Fold the other side up. Make a nice little package. A little parcel. Tuck the ends in. And then put it, these are bowls that I got from a friend. And we're done. We'll check it tomorrow morning. As I said, if you squeeze a little bit, you can in the morning you can see whether there's any dye left in the dye liquor. Thank you for watching. Okay, I thought I'd bring you back and we'll have a look at the fibre we dyed. It's actually been a couple of days because life happened. As you can see, there's not a lot of colour coming out in the dye liquor of this dyed fibre that we did the other day. I usually put it in one of these mesh bags that you can get from the supermarket. I just put the whole lot in there. The less you play with the fibre, the better it is, the less felting or compacting there is. And then I just put the whole lot into my twin tub spinner, or you can just squeeze it out. I would sit it over a strainer like this and let it drain. Squeeze the water out, rinse it, and then hang it up to dry. Take it out of the bag to hang it up to dry, and when it's fully dry, it's all ready to spin. Right, I've brought you back so that you can see how the fibre is. This is merino tops once I've spun it in my spin dry. As you can see, there's no water left in it, and then I would just hang it up, drape it over my clothes area until it's all dry, and then it's all ready to use. Now I'll let this dry completely and then I'll bring it back and show you how it fluffs up once it's dry. Okay, I've brought the fibre back that we dyed in the video earlier so that you can see how it looks once it's all fully dried and ready to spin. As you can see, it's puffed up quite considerably since it was wet, and this is how we had it laid out when we applied our dye, and now it's just ready to put away and spin. This is how I finish my braids or my top so that it's compact, keeps the fibres together and looks pretty. Up to you, how do you do yours? I'm just making a loop, pulling it through. It's a bit like a crochet chain. Pull the last one through. Perhaps we'll just pull it through. And then I just turn it around, tuck the end in, so it's all ready for when you're ready to spin it. Don't forget to label it. Thank you for joining me.